Hello and welcome back to the Sauvignon Blanc full tasting. I hope you've got your tasting sheets or just a pen and paper and a bottle of wine ready. So like I said, we have a Val de Loire Sauvignon here from Lidl, and we have a Marlborough here, which is the Villa Maria from Asda. So I'm going to start off with the Val de Loire. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. It's wine o'clock. So before you taste a wine, you can always check the bottle just to see if you can get any more information. So as we know, it says Val de Loire on the label without a specific appellation. So the grapes are going to be from all over the Loire region, which just basically means that they're probably going to be quite simple and kind of young in style. It says it's 12% ABV, so quite light. So yeah, I'm genuinely just expecting something quite simple, nice and light and refreshing. So let's start. So first things first, you want to get yourself a white sheet of paper, and I'm going to check the colour. And yeah, kind of like I expect, it's really, really light in colour. So like that's like a light lemon. And then if you check then when you bring the glass back, there's not really much viscosity there. So that basically tells me that there's not much sugar in there or much alcohol, as we kind of guessed anyway. So I'm gonna give this a nice little swirl. That just basically lets the air in. I'm not getting a huge amount on the nose, but then would you for $5.99 from Lidl? But you are, you know, I'm getting some aromas of like kind of citrusy, maybe a little bit of pear, some crisp apple. Okay, so the fun part is taking a sip. If you want to be a real wanker here, then follow me. Okay, so you do that to show off. It takes a while to practice that. I used to spill it all over myself, so don't feel bad if you do spit over yourself. Just make sure you're not wearing white if you're tasting with red. So that's dry instantly. I can tell that that's dry. It's got quite high acidity. You can measure that by kind of the amount that your mouth waters, and you tend to get that feeling just here. It's quite light in body. What else? You can tell that it's light in alcohol. Usually when you breathe in, when you're taking a sip, that burning sensation you get, obviously the more that it burns, the higher the alcohol, and it's really quite faint, that. So I'd agree with 12%. You do get some nice citrus notes in there. There is a touch of lime. Let's see what else we can get. Again, a little bit of crisp apple, maybe a little bit of pear, and there is a slight minerality there. Medium finish, you know, you take a sip, you can taste all those flavours, and then it's only there for a couple of seconds. So I'd say medium-ish finish. So conclusion, I would say it's a good example of a Loire Sauvignon Blanc. It's that really crisp, kind of clean, dry, light style. And for $5.99, it's fine, it's good. You know, you can definitely drink this outside in the garden when it's sunny. Obviously, if you want something a little bit more complex or a little bit more flavoursome, then the more you spend, then the better the quality. But as an example, $5.99 Lidl, good. And I will say, if you do like this style of wine, then you should definitely try Muscat des Sèvres Men. That's also from the Loire region, so it's really, really close to the coast. And these wines are kind of really light in style, high acidity, lots of minerality, and kind of crisp green flavours as well. So again, if you like this, you'll definitely like that one. So I would give it a go. Now, let's try the next one. Okay, so this time I'm going to try the Marlborough Sauvignon, but this time I'm going to check off everything that is on the tasting placemat. So if you do have a tasting placemat, then we can go through everything together. So again, we're going to check the bottle to see if there's any extra information. Villa Maria, Sauvignon Blanc, Marlborough, 2019 vintage. This is 13%, so I expect it to have a little bit more sugar. It's probably, the grapes were a lot riper than in the Loire region, which makes sense. It says here, New Zealand's most admired wine brand, Drinks International 2019. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. But there we go, so let's give it a go. So we're gonna look at the color first. That is, so this I would say, so it's clear first of all. So you wanna look at the clarity. Obviously if it's clear, it's been filtered, and you would expect this from most whites. Hazy wines are gonna be kind of natural, more funky styles. So the first thing you do, it's clear, there we go. The intensity here, it's quite light in color, and I can tell that because the difference between the edge of the rim and the center, it's quite watery, if that makes sense. So it's quite light, and I don't know if you can tell. So this is the Val de Loire, but this Sauvignon is slightly less yellow, so it's got more green flints. I don't know if you can tell or not. It's quite difficult from here, but it is. It's got slightly different colours. So it's got kind of, it's a light lemon, but it does have some green kind of flecks in there. There we go. So now we want to look, oh yeah, the viscosity. I mean, it's got a couple of legs there, as they say. So that does, I mean, you would expect it from slightly higher alcohol, maybe a little bit more sugar. Let's put the nose in, shall we? Okay, so first thing you want to look for is the intensity of the aromas, and that straight away is quite pungent. So that's quite typical from a New Zealand Sauvignon, and it is, you do get kind of quite pungent aromas of, you get that gooseberry, you get that elderflower, you've got some grassy notes in there. I'm not getting a huge amount of tropical flavours, tropical aromas yet, but you never know. So let's give it a taste. I mean, it just tastes like a classic Sauvignon, but let's go through the checklist. So you want to figure out the sweetness level first. So this, I would say, is dry. It does have a teeny tiny bit of residual sugar there, but I'd still classify this as dry. And then you want to check the acidity. So again, you want to swirl it around your mouth, and you want to see kind of if you feel it here and how much your mouth waters. So Whew. Wow. So my mouth is watering quite a lot. So I'd say kind of medium plus to really high acidity there. Oh, it's really nice and refreshing. So the next is body. So you just do the same. So you can take a sip and kind of make a decision for each one. Medium minus body. So it's not the lightest. It does have a little bit more body than the Val de Loire, and that makes sense. Obviously it's got a little bit more alcohol and sugar in there, so it will kind of feel a little weightier. You can compare it to skinny milk, so skinny milk being light in style, and then semi-skimmed is more medium, and then obviously full fat is like a full body. So that is generally the scale that I tend to use when I'm deciding body when it comes to wine. Alcohol, we know, is 13%, so like medium. There is a variation. Some wines can be 0.5% less or more. Sometimes you can think, oh, the alcohol seems a lot stronger or a lot weaker, but I would say 13 pretty much, you know, is bang on. Now tannins, you only get tannins in red wine, so that just doesn't exist. So now we want to check the intensity of flavours and what we taste on the palate. So yeah, so that's quite intense. You get, again, you get that gooseberry, you get the elderflower, and you've got these really lovely kind of grassy notes, maybe some green pepper. There is some citrus there as well. That acid is really nice and sharp, really kind of mouth-watering and refreshing. And that finish is reasonably long. Again, I'm not getting a huge amount of fruits. You do sometimes get some passion fruit or maybe some stone fruit, but it's not I think this is more of a like a green version or a grassy version, which is nice. Maybe a bit of cat's piss. No, I'm only joking. This is actually really nice. I could drink this all day. So finish. It's got kind of a long finish. It's not the longest in the world, but yeah, medium plus, maybe medium plus finish. That's nice. So conclusion, I'd say this is a really good quality wine for price in particular. It's a really classic Marlborough Sauvignon in style. You've got all of those flavours there, you know, you've got the green, you've got the herby notes, you've got the gooseberry and everything else that you'd expect. The acidity is lovely, it's really nice and sharp and mouth-watering. All in all, I'd say pretty decent Marlborough, actually. I think I'm just gonna finish this off, actually. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for watching the video. Next week we'll be posting something new, so feel free to send in some suggestions about what you want to hear about or what you want to discuss. Obviously I am discussing supermarket wines because they are easily accessible and affordable, but don't forget there are still independent places that are delivering wine to your door, and they could very much do with your help. These obviously are kind of examples of wines or grape varieties from specific regions, but the more you spend, the better the quality will be. So instead of spending $7.99 in Asda, you could easily spend $8.99 from a wine shop and get a really, really incredible wine. So yeah, take a look at what's in your area, and if you can support them, obviously do so. Until then, enjoy your wines, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Yachida! It's really nice.